All right, looks like we are here. Hey there, everyone. Hitesh here, and welcome back to another Saturday Live, a live in which I try to answer all of your question, and not only just your question. This year, I have started that I'll reach out to pretty much everyone who I can in my network and more, and bring out industry veterans so that you can get a more perspective than my perspective. As you know, I'm not much into hardware and stuff, so I was looking for an expert who can actually go for those hardware stuff and can tell us a bit more perspective than my perspective. So I think you're going to enjoy this live a lot. So leave a like up here and let me bring up our guest for today. He needs actually no introduction and stuff. You probably might be knowing him. So let me bring him up here. So hey Sudhanshu, how are you?
Yeah, thank you so much, This. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm also doing good, absolutely fine. So it was really a good thing for us to catch Sudhanshu up here because getting on board Sudhanshu is a difficult job. He is a busy
Mhm.
man, but we are here.
I think doing a live with you is a difficult job. So you have a popularity plus a time constraint. So yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being on the channel. So today we are going to be diving into something where I don't have my expertise too much, although I am an electronics engineer, but I don't hold too much of expertise in the area where Sudhanshu does. So we're going to be I'll be asking a whole lot of curious questions, which I have. I have some set of questions ready for him to fire at him. And of course, Sudhanshu, if you don't like any questions, you can always say pass in that. I have a lot of questions firing up right at you. So we'll be doing that. And apart from that, you can also ask all of your question. In the meanwhile, a little bit, we are going to get into your questions as well. So I hope you, Sudhanshu, don't mind. We'll be answering some of the questions in the live as well.
No
And
issue at all.
maybe this live might extend a little bit based on a lot of questions and all of that. I hope
Sure.
that's not an issue.
No, not wrong.
Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll share the screen with Sudhanshu so that both can be up here on the live. Okay, so I hope you are up here.
Yeah.
Okay, first I'll start here. Before we go for anything, here's the most important question. Are you on the tea side or the coffee side?
Red Bull side.
Oh, goodness. So I actually, you don't know this, but I actually once reached out Red Bull that, hey, why don't you sponsor me and give me a fridge of Red Bull? I also love that.
So I already have that. So many people have sponsored these things for me and so many vendors, right? Even Red Bull. So they have given me a fridge and the whole setup, and every week they used to send me like a two complete cartage of a Red Bull. A set of
I
the Red
I
Bull they
need
used to
to
send
get
me.
that because I'm a big fan of Red Bull, and one of the thing I love is Red Bull iced tea. That's a whole different level.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Okay, before we move on to another question, can I see what is just lying out there behind you?
It's a drone that I have. So we are trying to build
Goodness,
different
how
different
big
kind
is
of.
that? Can you like we'll start the live and everything? Can
Yeah, we have so many drones. So I have just some sample in front of me, as you can see, right? So we have so many different kind of a drone. We are even designing a VTOL drone, vertical takeoff and landing drone, and size of that drone is 4 meter, 12 feet
four
approximately. It's a
meter?
VTOL.
Goodness, if I would be
12
little
12
lighter,
feet.
it could carry me, I guess.
Exactly, a 40 feet of payload it can take.
Yeah, if
40
I would
feet.
be lighter, but sadly I'm not. I'm a big, heavy dude. So, okay. So, apart from this, like, what you're going to deliver with that drone? Like, what are you plan? We'll start the live, of course, but I'm a little curious here. So,
Yeah, so we are trying to build a drone fleet metrics over here in our innovation lab. Maybe we can talk about it more and more. So once you can start firing up a question, but yeah, so we are trying to build a drone fleet metrics. So I'll be talking about what is the idea behind a drone fleet metrics, what kind of a task it will be able to perform for maybe a delivery, for maybe a rescue operation, security and surveillance operations, and many more things. So yeah, that is something that we are trying to build.
I'll come back onto this one. I'm not gonna leave you for this one. I need a whole lot of information on that. So I hope you can actually go up and do some justice with me as well. I'm a bit more curious on this side. This is like, oh goodness, I need to see this. Okay,
Sure.
so firing up some of the question, I'll start with can you start a little bit about a bit of your expertise so that audience know that what kind of questions they can answer, ask, and all of that.
Okay, yeah. So currently, I'm working as a CEO of iNeuron, and before joining iNeuron, so I was working with Ernest and Young. I was working with Verizon Labs. I was working with Deloitte, and I have started my career with Wipro. Right, so I was working into a SAP domain, then switched to big data, then switched to a data science. So yeah, these are my a kind of a technical stack, you can say. So everything in big data, everything in data science, and something in SAP. So some of the module, because SAP itself is a very very used module. So yeah, technically.
Okay, so we can go all heavy in with the Python, machine learning, data science, hardware, and SAP also.
Exactly, yes.
And obviously, if you are doing that much of that, so obviously web dev and all of that should be like should be there. Yeah,
It's a
obviously.
part of the system.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's go with the question number one that I would like to fire at right first. So let's just say I know Python, I know basics, and probably a little bit more than basics. So now let's just say I'm looking to go into a job role, very fresh job role of a data science. Now you know that the things have changed. Now freshers are also getting data science job. Previously that was not the case, but now it is the case that they are getting. So what would you recommend me? Three projects, only three, not four, just three projects that should be there in my resume.
So I would like to answer this question in a little different way, right? So when we are talking about a project, and let's suppose I'm a person who is having an expertise with a Python. So what I always believe is Python is just a language, it's just an enabler to build anything. And likewise, you can try to choose any other languages, even from a JS side, you can try to use any languages, even Java or maybe a Scala or maybe a Python, Perl, Ruby, any languages you can try to pick and choose. That is not going to make any kind of a differences. Yes, in data science industry, majority of people are using Python, but when it comes to a job interview, when it comes to a transition, right, or getting into a data science or AI industry, so we are always supposed to focus on a project. Now when I'm talking about a three project as you have asked, right, so first of all, try to focus on a complete pipeline. Try to create a project in such a way that from a data ingestion, so starting from a data ingestion, or maybe from a data churn operation, or maybe a data, you can say like a accumulative operations, or maybe you can say like a data filtering operations, and then building a machine learning algorithm on top of that, or building maybe some sort of a model on top of that, maybe a machine learning, maybe deep learning, till a deployment. So this is a kind of a project you are supposed to put up, where not only just Python is going to help you out, so you are supposed to know at least one language. Python is one of those. Apart from this algorithm side, so yes, there is a little bit of mathematics which is required. Apart from that, so CI/CD pipeline or a complete ops setup is required, cloud is required. So when you are going to learn this entire things, and then if you are able to uh, like digest all of these things in one single project, right, with respect to a domain, again depends upon your choice, then you can say that okay, fine, so this kind of project I can try to put up in my resume, and that is going to work.
Okay,
So
so if I
instead
have to
of
summarize this, you are saying that take a CSV file, a big one that should be out there, that should be processed, cleaned up, and that should be processed by any machine learning or whatever the algorithm you want to use. And people should be able to see that result right on some website which is hosted on somewhere, any cloud,
maybe,
whatever.
yeah, maybe website, maybe a Tableau or Power BI dashboard, so result, right? And you
Okay.
are supposed to productionize it. You are supposed to build a system in such a way that thousands of developer will be able to check in a code on a daily basis, on a regular basis, and you are supposed to get all the insights on the other end. So this is
Okay.
how you are supposed to design the project.
But give me any three. I won't. I need
See,
three.
it's
Some
yeah. So if you're going
any
to
random
ask.
thought that coming up to you.
Okay, so one of the project which I used to teach in my classes is called as buffer fault detection. So where we try to build a complete pipeline from one end, so it will be able to ingest all the sensor data, and then it will be able to tell you that okay, which buffer sensor is a faulty one, so that person can go to the location, pinpoint location, and then that person can replace. So one is a buffer
Now we are
fault.
talking. Now we are talking.
Yeah, so the one is a buffer fault detection project, which is a very very popular one, and those who have joined from Ireland side, I think they are aware about it. Another project which I used to discuss is a complete ML pipeline or automated ML pipeline project that we used to discuss. So over there, it's not just about one single algorithm. It's kind of a customized machine learning algorithm that we try to use. So it will try to decide which algorithm is a best fitted algorithm for a particular data set, and automatically. So it's kind of a one click deployment solution that we have
Okay.
built and that we used to teach. So that is again one machine learning pipeline solution, automated pipeline solution that we have built. And again, if you will go to a PyPy, you will be able to find out another amazing project from Iron side, a complete library that we have checked in over there, and that is something called as Auto Neuro. It's a
Okay.
complete library that we have checked in inside a PyPy. Anyone can use it. It's a public library that we have published. So that is my third project.
Ah, really cool. So I think that would be something awesome. I think I can make a crisp out of that library to introduce that. Maybe a lot of people
Anytime.
will get all of that.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on. So now I got your idea that there's no need of these three projects. If one is even massive and bigger, I think we can call it a day. I guess what?
Pipeline. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pipeline
yeah.
is important. This is what I
Okay.
feel all the time.
Okay. So okay, moving on. So I got my idea that why this much of it as that is. Now, this is what we have talked about the data science. So now again, a lot of question that comes to me all the time is similar to this that hey, what's the difference between a machine learning and a data science, and what are the three projects that I should build using or that should depict that yeah, I'm a machine learning expert. So can you throw some light on that?
Okay, so if I'll talk about a data science, right, it's a big umbrella. So wherever data is involved and wherever we are trying to generate some sort of a analytics, or maybe somehow we are using a data to make a decision, so everything comes under data science. Now inside, so data science is kind of a generalized concept, you can say a bigger umbrella. Inside that, if I'll talk about a specific technology, you will be able to find out a machine learning, deep learning, computer vision, NLP, reinforcement learning. So again, these are the major breaks you will be able to find out, major like things you will be able to find out. Not talking about the project. So if I'll talk about a machine learning, then my favorite choice will be a pipelining project. If I'll talk about a computer vision, which is again a part of a data science, right, in that case, so there are so many projects I
Yeah,
can talk
computer
about.
vision is like a open-ended, build an entire Instagram swipes up there.
Exactly. So like a ANPR, automatic number plate system. So project
Yeah.
based on the OCR, project based on the object detection, project based on the segmentation, project based on maybe tracking. So these are the projects that you can try to involve from computer vision side. If I'll talk about NLP, so from NLP side, you can talk about abstractive summarization, extractive summarization. So I think we all are using this one. We all are using InSort. InSort is a news app, right,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
will try
exactly.
to summarize the entire news and then it will give it to you. So backend, if you will try to check, right, so they have used the abstractive and extractive summarization, which is a part of your NLP algorithm and which has been built based out of the state of the art model, which is derived from the transformer. So BERT, Elmo, GPT-1, 2, 3, Electra, there are a complete
Yeah,
series
you know,
again.
there's an interesting thing up here that sometimes I really enjoy when Indian companies do so good. You know, the short they have designed so good of an algorithm to extract and summarize the data and all of that. Of course, their editor also help into that, but they have designed it so well that even some of the companies in the international are taking this as a case study that how well they are doing it. So we should also do this, and this is happening all over New York and Washington side that yeah we should look as an inspiration from the short. So I think this is something I really enjoy, that when
Yeah.
somebody from right here do the
and
magic.
and and it's not difficult at all, believe me, it's not difficult. Even nowadays kids can do it. The kind of a libraries, the kind of a APIs, and the kind of a pre-trained model which is available to us,
Yeah.
right, anyone can do it. And this is what we are teaching in our class. So in our class itself, so people used to build this kind of a solution.
Okay, so coming on to the class situation, as you know, a lot of us here are teachers. So again,
Yeah.
you are a teacher, I'm a teacher, and there are thousands of other teachers who are teaching. Sometimes students think that yeah, it's a competition between them, but truly it's not. We are all friends up here. We ping each other all the time. Naveen is a good friend. Saurabh is a good friend. You are a good friend of mine, and even in the international Brad and all of them, we hang out and chit chat a lot. So, do you think is it a competition or is it just a regular thing for us?
No, I don't see this as a competition. Thing is, see, it depends upon what we are trying to deliver, and what kind of an impact we are trying to create. And I believe we all are trying to create an impact in a different way. From and we are trying to cater a different kind of a crowd who belongs to a different technology. So it's just
Yeah,
about the
yeah,
interest.
like almost all the people who are watching me also knows about Krish as well. His channel is quite popular in this segment and category, and he tried to deliver his best of the knowledge. So can I follow up this with a question that okay, what are the two things that make you as a personally, not as a Krish or anything, what makes you personally as different from other? What are the things you are absolutely proud that I do this while teaching? So just two things.
See, when it comes to a teaching, right? So I don't label myself as a teacher, first of all. So, and again, even in my class, I keep on saying that I'm not your teacher. I'm someone who is here to give you an experience. I'm not here to teach you maybe a language or algorithm or mathematics behind it or maybe a derivation of it. No. So whatever I have experienced, right, while working in a different company, and even now when we are working for a different clients and we are building our own product, so it's the same experience I'm trying to transfer. So it's more like, it's not like a teaching, it's more like a KT, knowledge transfer, right? So
Yeah.
this is where I feel like I'm a little bit different. So I don't like maybe a word called as teacher. I'm not qualified for it, maybe, right? So but yeah, I keep on saying that yes, I'm a person who can do a knowledge transfer in a best possible way.
So you act more like as a senior software developer who is having a responsibility of providing a KT to the new team member. Can I say
Cater to
that?
yes, exactly. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on. So let's move on to the other side of the table, because that's what one of the experience I wanted to give everybody, that a whole lot of teachers and YouTubers are doing fantastic job in providing that how to get a job, DS and all of that. What it looks like on the other side. Obviously, you have a big team. You are hiring back to back and all of that. Previously, you have worked with other companies where you might be hiring. So let's just say there is a position opening in your company which is on the data science. So a resume comes into the picture. Now, what are the first couple of things that you look into a resume? And can you share one or two questions that you might be asking to somebody who's coming to interview and you are taking the interview?
Okay, so let me talk about a procedure of hiring that we used to follow in Iniron. So in Iniron, things are a little bit different. So resume is fine, everything is fine, right? So whenever, let's suppose we have opened up one particular position for a data science junior or maybe senior or maybe a lead level, so we used to give them a kind of a challenging task. Not that challenging for sure, right? A
Okay.
kind of a task that we have already solved maybe in a past, right? So one simple maybe a task, and if a person, because we would like to like understand that how that person is able to think about that task, how person is able to design the architecture, solution, system design, pipelining, everything, right? So we just test on that particular level, and then we try to take a second round, so where we talk about the kind of the way a person has like a delivered that particular task.
So
If
follow up on
person,
that.
follow up on that, right? Yeah. So each person is able to explain each and everything logically, each person is able to connect each and every system, and each person we feel like, okay fine, so now person is able to like think in a way where he will end up building or she will end up building a scalable solution. We say that okay fine, so you are hired. So this is a procedure that we used to follow, so it's more like a practical procedure instead of asking just a couple of questions.
Well, obviously, you have to filter it through. Like there are hundreds of applications that come in. So just give me two questions or a hack or something that, yeah, these are the common ones that are usually
Okay,
there. I
so
want to
so
prepare
so
for it. Let's just say I want to prepare to apply for your company. Give me some inside hacks.
Okay, so just talk. Let's talk about only two questions. So my
Yeah.
first question will be: so what will be your retraining approach for a machine learning model? That will be my first
Yeah.
question.
Fantastic. Fantastic, man.
And my second question is going to be like, let's suppose you have a model of size 250 MB, right? And it is working well with a 2 GB RAM. A system capacity is like suppose 2 GB RAM, right? 2 GB RAM you have, and you have a i5 processor. Let's suppose and per second, so it is able to process maybe 100 number of records. Let's suppose I have a limitation of 2 GB RAM. It's not going to change, it's a constant, right?
Okay.
And model size is 250 MB, so again model size is constant. Now you have to process 1,000 records, where it was able to process 100 records, you have to process 1,000 records. How you are going to optimize it?
That's a cool one actually. If
Scenario based.
somebody knows the answer of this, he actually can probably design the entire stuff within minutes.
Exactly.
Or and probably this is what we face in the day-to-day life whenever we are doing such kind of a stuff, I guess. That's a common thing up here. Okay,
Yeah.
there was one interesting question in the chat as well. I would like to take that one as well. So in the chat, it says, how much data structure and algorithm are important when we have to work in the data science and computer vision domain? Like,
Okay.
obviously, data structure is important for scalability and everything. So I guess what he wants to know is it like a entry barrier or something?
Let's answer this question in this way. So let's suppose if I'm going to apply for MNCs. In that case, data algorithm doesn't play a major role. They are not going to ask any kind of a question from DS algo. That is true. But let's suppose if I'm going to apply for a product-based companies, for sure, first couple of round they are going to take in a data structure algorithm. That is pretty much obvious, and you can't avoid it. So it depends. So what is my target companies? So if I'm applying for MNCs, I'll not do it. If I'm applying for a product based companies, for sure I'll do it in like a second round, third round, or fourth round. So yes, they may focus on a mathematics side, they may focus on the application side, but this is how data algorithm is important, and that just depends upon the companies.
Okay, so now let's move on to a some of a. This was more heavy on the data science and stuff of a talk. Now let's jump into the segment where let me generalize the question a little bit. So as you know, you might be learning a lot of things in day-to-day life. I learn a lot of things every single day, and then the client project comes in, and we have to constantly learn on the things. Recently, we had to go through with the TensorFlow. I had to read like a god of awful book on the recommendation system. You might have seen that black book of the recommendation system. I mean,
Yeah.
it's highly rated on Amazon. If you search for recommendation, that's a hell of an expensive book. So much painful to read and go through with that. It's so difficult. So obviously, I go through with that. So what is your hack and your way of learning the things? And how can students actually see that? Yeah, this is going to make sense. It makes my life easier to learn new things. Industry
Okay.
veterans
See,
have to learn all the time.
exactly. Yeah, that's true. So learning is a kind of endless journey, and every day you learn a lot. So my way of learning is very very simple. So let's suppose it's not like, see, there are so many things to learn, right? And it's not like it's possible for a particular human being to learn everything in a single go. It's not possible at all. So what I do is, so let's suppose if I'm working in a particular project, or maybe if I'm trying to solve some of the problems, or I'm designing some of the like architecture, so related to a specific project. So first of all, I try to pick and choose a project, right? Whatever is required from a system side, from a design side, from an architecture side, from a DB side, let's suppose from a storage side, computation side, algorithm side. So I try to prepare a complete stack of it. Like, okay, fine, so this is required from a ops side, this is required from the cloud side, this is required from a front end side or back end side, this is required from the processing side. And then one by one I start attaching each and every dots, right? So this is my way of learning. So in this way, it's like a kind of a precise for me. And at the end of the day, I set a goal for me that, okay, fine, so if I have learned something, I have to deliver, and I will end up delivering a project. So that's my way of learning.
Okay, so that's you are more on to a build. Let's go ahead and out of the box build
Bu-
something.
Build something, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense because I have seen on like a lot of people don't know, but I'm quite familiar with your platform and stuff as well. That you provide like, hey, just ask for whatever the course you need, and we are going to provide you that and all of that. I think that's how we actually met first. That hey, somebody is asking for this kind of topic, and why don't you get on board something like that?
Exactly. So it's kind of a demand option that we have given to our entire public, where you can raise a demand. So whatever we know doesn't matter. So whatever you are looking for, raise a demand, and we are here to fulfill that particular demand. So
So I
I
hope
can
that's
say,
only related to tech and all of that. Maybe somebody wants to learn Photoshop and
no. So in our kids, so that there is a concept of one neuron. So we have designed this particular one neuron concept in a way that okay, fine. So just take one of these neurons, and it is going to like be with you for your entire life, and whatever is required, we are going to fulfill. So we have designed another neuron called as kids neuron. So as you were talking about Photoshop, right? Is
yeah.
there.
Okay. Because I'm quite interested in knowing about the Photoshop and stuff. I learn about designing all the Go. That's kind of a side hobby that I do. Ah, that's an interesting one. Can I need on customized courses for universities?
Yes, yeah. So we are delivering a courses in a multiple universities. We have done a tie-up. So yes, we are working on it, and
Hmm.
we are doing it.
Hey, interesting, interesting. I usually don't customize anything for, like, I don't customize, especially for universities. I don't like them that much.
Personally, I don't like it, but yes, it's a business, so I believe we all have to do it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand the business side of the things. They just are big fan of code and code, but I think eventually you learn about the business side of the things as well.
Yeah. So when you are running a company, so for sure you have to adopt that culture as well.
Yeah.
You can't avoid it.
Okay, so moving on to something which I want to personally ask that let's just say someone is more focused on JavaScript, and I want to integrate somehow machine learning in my project. Let's just say in my website or your website there is a discussion section where you try to answer all of the questions and something. Now I want to build a bot who can, based on the context of the question, if the question was already answered, he can provide answer of that. So how would you recommend me to do this kind of stuff? I don't know Python. I don't know how to print hello world in Python.
Like I said, so Python is just a language. So likewise, we have so many language, we have so many libraries. So let's talk about a JS, right? So
Yeah.
TensorFlow JS is one of the most popular library, but TensorFlow JS is not only one. So there is something called as MXNet JS, there is something called as Deep Learn JS, there is something called as Neuro JS, there is something called as Math JS, there is something called as Keras JS, right? There is something called as Conrad JS for a convolution neural network for processing images. So there are so many list of the JS library you will be able to find out, and you can train your machine learning model, deep learning model, computer vision model, NLP model without even knowing about a Python, and that too on a client side, not on a server side.
That's awesome. So okay, let's just say specifically for a use case where we have to build up a question answer, the forum is there. So what is the library I should be looking forward to learn and implement?
I think TFJS is going to work for you. So you can try to create a neural network. You can try to feed in your data set, and it is going to adopt your question and answer based on the data input that you are going to provide. And the same model you can try to host anywhere that you want, and just feed your question. It is going to give you an answer. Apart from this, let's suppose you are looking for a very, very simple solution. So I'll give you a very simple solution. Go ahead with a dialog flow. Go ahead with maybe Rasa NLU, or you can try to go ahead with maybe Amazon based like a chatbot system, which is Alex, or maybe you can go ahead with the Azure based system, which is called as Louis. So Dialogflow, Louis, Lex, and Rasa will be a low hanging fruit. If you would like to build an advanced state of the art model, in that case, you have to go ahead with the transformer based model, which is based out of the BERT or GPT. You might have heard of this a new system or a new release which was done for the GitHub, called as GitHub Copilot. So where it writes
Yeah.
a code. So it's more like a question answer kind of a system. You just try to put up your question, it
Yeah.
try give you answer in terms of code, right? So that completely depends upon that. It's a transformer based model that they have used, right? It's
It's
extension
a
of
very regular
GPT-3.
thing. I also did a video on that. A whole lot of YouTuber did a clickbaity on that. It was supposed to be a clickbaity stuff and all of that. But I don't think it's that scary. It's a good thing actually.
Yeah, it's a good thing actually. So and again, if you will understand this transformer based architecture, right, it's an amazing architecture. It's a complete logical things that you will be able to find out how system is trying to learn, how system is able to understand your context, your question, your word, your characters, and it is able to build it is able to understand the sentiment, and it is giving you an answer, how it is going to like generate or produce a sentences or words for you. So it's actually amazing stuff if you are going to explore.
Okay, so now moving on to again the question which is still in the back of my head. Uh, what is the drone that you are building? Can you share a bit of experience of? I know this personally from behind the scenes stuff, but I want to bring it in the audience itself that you are even printing your drone as well. So I know this, but audience doesn't know this. Can you shed some light on this one? That how on the God's green earth you are printing your own drone and you are
Okay.
gonna fly that. So just discuss a little bit on that. Throw some light.
Okay, so we are working on a project called as drone fleet metrics. Now, if I'll talk about, let's just talk about the very simple task, right? Amazon delivery, or maybe a Swiggy, Zomato delivery, or maybe a Dunzo delivery, or maybe a border surveillance, right? Or maybe a construction surveillance, or maybe a windmill surveillance, or maybe a solar panel surveillance. So each and every aware, right? So we need a mechanism so where we can try to complete a work in a fastest possible way. And as of now, everywhere human beings are involved. Yes, that's true. And there are so many challenges that we used to face on a ground. I'll take one simple example. So let's suppose if there is a windmill, right? if there is a windmill, and we all know that with a time, so windmill will start developing a cracks into it, right?
Yeah.
So there will be a human resource who goes over there, and we all know that wherever we are going to install this windmill, it will be in a remote area, a very very remote area, and it's very very difficult to like do a surveillance for a particular windmill, identify a cracks, and
Yeah,
then
I have
if
seen that in the Europe they actually hang a person from the helicopter and he does. I've been into that part, so I was chilling out and saw like, what the hell is this? This is so risky.
Exactly, it's a risky, plus it's a kind of it's costing a particular company a lot, right? And same task, because every day you are going for an inspection every day, or maybe once in a week, once in a month, people used to go for an inspection, and it's kind of a risky task, plus it's not a cost effective one. So if you can send a drone over there, if on a regular basis, maybe on a daily basis, drone can go and take a round of it, and if there is a crack, right, for a hundreds of windmill, if there is a crack which is developed, so it can try to locate, because see, when we are talking about a crack, right, so there is a possibility there will be a minor dent. You're not supposed to replace, you're not supposed to work on it. But if it is a major crack, so for sure you are supposed to work, you are supposed to build, you are supposed to do something about it, right? So what if a drone can do a surveillance, and instead of a human being, and drone can pinpoint a particular location and a particular windmill number, and in this way your task will be like a easy. So again, that is a kind of a fleet metrics that we are trying to build. Let's suppose if I'm talking about Swiggy or Zomato delivery, right? So over there, as of now, there is a human being who can deliver, right? But let's suppose if I have to do the same thing in a cost effective way, if I have to like fly a drone from point X location and on point Y location, so if I have to drop something in a safest possible way, so again, drone can be a kind of a vehicle that you can use, and it will be able to deliver.
So
Let's suppose if
possibilities
I'm
are on the table that you can
there
fly
are so
me
many.
a McDonald's burger right at my home. So
Exactly. So yes, and people are trying to do a lots of experiment. If you'll talk about a UAE, if you'll talk about a Singapore, if you'll talk about European region plus US region, so there are so many companies who is trying to do a research, because on a ground, so we used to face a lots of hurdles when we are talking about a flying object, right? And I think we all know about India. So where we have so many of regulations, so we have to like fulfill those regulations as well.
yeah.
So we are trying to build a drone fleet metrics in such a way that it will be able to travel from point X location to point Y location, from a particular latitude longitude to a different latitude longitude, with a payload, without a payload, so that it will be able to deliver something, it will be able to perform a rescue operation. So complete app we are trying to build, app side if I'll talk about. So for a drone traffic control, because there is a chance of collision, there is a chance of like a bad weather where you can't fly a drone, there is a chance of a charging, right? So keeping these things in mind, so we are trying to build a different kind of a drone, like I have named a VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing drone. We are trying to build a gas powered drone, because as of now the drone that you will be able to find out gives you a flight time of just 10 minutes or 20 minute max to max. But yes, within 20 minutes you can't deliver everything, you can't perform a task for each and everything,
Yeah.
right? So we are trying to like develop a gas powered drone where you can get a flight time of 2 hour or maybe 3 hour of a time. So this is something that we are working on.
Yeah,
It's kind of
I can add up a little bit onto this as well because I know a person very well who is in Indian defense, and now our defense is actually building a surveillance system on the borders in the Pakistan region and all of that. That is actually exactly the concept that you talked about. So I'll try probably bring him as a guest maybe someday, but that's a very very kind of a defense project. So he has to say every word with a caution. So that's why he's not ready to be on the live in session. You know how it is.
yeah. So it was a same thing which was on our plate, and we have even done a little bit of things. I can't talk about it as of now, but yeah,
Yeah,
same
I
for the
don't want
defense.
you to either talk that. I don't want
Yeah.
this live to go away because there is so much of the information that people can actually rewatch it and recommend to friends and all of that. Because these kinds of lives, this is only possible with the live. Otherwise, there are like lakhs and lakhs of rupees of seminars and events that happens where people actually pay thousands and thousands of rupees and their guest talks like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. I know this, but I would like to put this as a question. So I am an electronics engineer, but the reason of moving into the programming was the cost. I did bought a sensor. It costed me like 3,000 rupees at that time. That was a big amount and all of that. And sensors were expensive at that time. I accidentally damaged that sensor And that was the time I moved into like, we'll move into programming. There, if something gets error or something, I can just rewrite the code. It's very cost less effective and all of that. And now I came to know that you are providing these sensors and everything for free to students. Like, how is this?
See, first of all, I think we have to understand motive behind this one, right? When you are trying to build something innovative, when you're trying to build something which doesn't even exist, so you need lots of hand, right? Sometime person who is not very capable, but still, you will be able to find out something unique, something different in an individual, right? So you have to onboard each and everyone, every kind of a people you have to onboard, and you are supposed to remove a barrier where, like, you were talking about breaking like a particular sensor or something, some hardware kit. So you are supposed to remove that particular barrier. You are supposed to give them a luxury to do anything, experiment any kind of thing. Then only they will be able to build something, right?
Yeah, but my college
So
didn't understood this. They said, and you will be getting banned from the lab and something. So how is this possible that you are giving the entire
so
lab at like, destroy this if you want?
so keeping these things in our mind, what we have decided is like, okay, so let's try to open up our innovation lab for everyone, right? Whoever is a part of our program. So yes, give them access, give them a luxury, let them experiment, right? Whatever they want, along with our team, for sure, right? 24 into 7. And yes, let them work in our project. Like I was talking about the drone fleet metrics, likewise we have a number of projects in which we are working. So let them do it. And yes, so we have experienced in last 2 year that it is a kind of a cost effective for us, because hardware is not going to cost you much as compared to a human resource, a good
Yeah,
brain,
that I agree.
right?
That I
So
100%
that
agree.
that was the idea. I hope we all are able to understand. So
Yeah, so I think I guess like I was very surprised with this, that how can your pockets be deep than the college that they are charging like lakhs and lakhs of rupees, and how is it like how it works?
so it just works in this way, that we are just looking for a brain, right? There we are saving a cost, and we are giving them a luxury, a flexibility, a platform where they
Yeah,
can do any kind of
let me follow up
experiments.
with this another question, something like this. Like, I am providing a whole lot of education. There are thousands of YouTubers who are providing education as well, and now audience came to know that now there are even labs in India which you are providing. Like, go ahead, you have all kind of sensors. Even if you want to just come and see how the sensors look like, touch and all that, and there are so many of these things available to the student. Just hypothetically asking a question, do you think in the future people will be opting for universities when they'll know that I have an access of lab outside, I have an access of thousands of these courses which are taught by absolute pro grade and industry veterans? Where do you think that after 5 years or 6 years will people be preferring universities and college or not?
See, it all depends upon people mindset, and it will be driven by kind of a job and kind of a requirement that companies are going to raise. So let's suppose if there is a XYZ company who is saying that yes, I need a degree, I need a certificate, I need a formal education, right? And yes, even now we have companies, right? Majority of the companies are looking for it. So in that way, yes, there will be a set of people, we can find out they will be inclined towards the colleges, they will complete their formal education. And even now we have a set of people who are dropouts, and who is just trying to follow their passion, who is looking for a kind of a setup where they can do everything. So they will not fall for the college, right? So even now we have a situation, so maybe a 95 is to 5%. Tomorrow maybe it is going to change, 30 is to 70. 30% people would like to join the industry, 70% people would like to attend the colleges and then they will join the industry. So I believe both will exist,
Okay.
right? Both will exist at a time, but yeah, maybe a ratio is going to change,
So
and this
ratio
is
is
what we
going.
have.
So you are saying that the ratio is going to change. We have reached onto the threshold where people are evaluating, because a lot of my friends have raised funding. You are also providing these services. They have raised fundings on that. That now we are going for the boot camps that are more job oriented, job guarantee programs, and all of that. Thousands and thousands of courses are just right at your click. So do you think now we have reached onto the threshold where people are going to say, "I'm done with college"?
No, I believe my answer will be no. It's my again personal, like my own perspective, right? So yes, people are looking for someone who can provide them a state of the art, industry led kind of projects, or maybe courses or programs or something. But still, there are a set of people who are completely depend upon the colleges, right? They think that we have to take a degree, and then again, they are not. No one is right or wrong. It's just about the perspective that we used to build, right? And I believe you have also experienced in a recent year that there are so many people who is liking your lecture as compared to their like a professor's lecture
Yeah,
coming to your platform. So things have changed, and that's the reason I have mentioned that this ratio is going to change, but both will exist for sure even in future.
on follow up, do you think like I get reached out by thousands of companies, and not thousand, that would be over exaggerated, but at least one or two companies, let's just say in a month. They always say come up onto our platform, and all of them, their goal is to get more student benefit and all that. But so far, none, not even a single college has reached me out that, hey, Tish, are you planning to become an HOD here? Or would you like to give a lecture as a lecturer for 6 months or something? Like I was only reached out by IIT Bombay once, and that too for a couple of lectures on a different topic, like teach for 1 week and all of that and all. So do you think this is going to happen? Like colleges are going to reach out YouTubers that, hey, teacher, teach here.
Yes, yeah. So let me talk about Chris. So there are so many colleges. Recently, we were in a GIM, Goa Institute of Management, right? So they have reached out to us, and yes, Chris has delivered lots of lecture. Even I was reached out by one of the universities here in Karnataka, right? So I was
That
there
is that
for
is
a
for a
week.
guest lecture. I'm talking about a full-time job. Do you got any offer for full-time
A
job?
full-time job. So when I was going to that particular college, so their HOD was telling me that okay, fine. So can I join your company? So it's a kind of
Ah.
a reverse. So they are trying to come into an industry, right? They are not liking their college campuses, right? So I think things are reversed over here. So I believe no. And even if they are going to ask me to join their college as HOD, I believe I'm enjoying my life over here. So
Yeah.
I'm good.
Okay. Also, hey guys, now you can fire up all of your questions. I'll be asking in between some question as well. But now we are all up here to take your questions. So fire them up, whatever you want to know. We will be taking up your questions on a rapid fire kind of ish round. So, data science or Django developer, which to choose?
Depends. So if you would like to like go into a complete development mode just as a developer where you can develop a website and apps and everything, so go ahead with a Django. If you would like to explore a world of data science, a world of machine learning, vision, and then like NLP and reinforcement, come to data science.
Okay. So, another one. Nowadays, students are only using open source Python libraries and pre trained models in their project without understanding its underlying math. And surprisingly, they get the job. Your views on it?
See, when we talk about this open source libraries and models, right? Libraries are completely fine. It works, right? But as far as this model is concerned, so you can't even give me a single computer vision model or NLP model which you can generalize on top of every kind of a problem statement and a data set. Let me talk about one simple like a use case over here. So we were trying to build ANPR system, automatic number plate recognition system. So let's suppose there is a truck or maybe a bus. So you must have seen in Indian trucks and bus there will be so many posters, right? Plus in one of the sections, so you can find out a number plate. So let's suppose if I have downloaded one of the ANPR model from GitHub repository from
Yeah.
somewhere, there are thousands of models which is available. Try to apply that model on top of your images, right? In your
Yeah.
context,
I
it will
get
not
that.
be
I
able to
get that. The context
localize
is too difficult. The
exactly.
context is like
So
the nightmare of everything.
distance, angle,
Yeah.
quality of the images, camera, positioning, speed, right? Many things varies a lot. It's a complete contextual problem that we used to solve, and depends upon hell lot of like environmental factor, right? So you can't generalize a model. So model wise, no. Library wise, yes, I would say.
Okay. Another one. Hello, Hitesh. Bring Krish next time. So, dear CEO,
For sure, he will be available. So I'm just waiting for your invitation. I'll just pass on that invitation to Chris. His cabin is just beside my cabin, so I believe
Actually, we were in talk for a long, so I thought to get started with you, and probably we can have a special session with Krish as well.
anytime, anytime.
Okay, are your boot camps available for Pakistani students as well?
Yeah, we have so many students from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from
Yeah, we,
Nepal.
we we don't discriminate based on boundaries and colors and borders and everything. We just write code.
Yes, we just write code and we just try to give a KT to everyone.
Interesting questions as well. So this is one. Can ML be used with blockchain or Web3 world? Very interesting question.
Exactly, yes. So there are so many like organizations so where we are trying to use ML or complete data science stack with respect to a blockchain or with respect to a Web3. A lot we are using it because when we talk about different kind of I would say uh, rules and regulations that we are trying to create for a blockchain environment. So let's suppose if I'm trying to create NFTs, or let's suppose if I'm trying to create some sort of a contract, a digital contract, so even over there, so these things are required. It's pretty much important.
Interesting, interesting. I know probably you can take it or not, but are there any demand on Oracle Apex? Is this something in your area of expertise or something?
No, not
Yeah,
in
so
my
we'll pass
area of
that.
expertise, but I believe it's a closed technology. So, as its name suggests, right, it's a closed technology. So, I would recommend you to go ahead with the open source.
Okay. What is the role of maths in AI, ML, and data science? Is it necessary to be master in maths? I guess this is the number one question you might have answered like 1,000 times or 5,000 times.
Exactly. I used to answer a lot this question. See, it again depends upon a kind of a role you are going to play in your next organization or kind of a role you will be playing in your next project. Let's suppose if I'm going to join some company or maybe some university as a researcher. Over there, yes, heavy mathematics is required. So knowledge of statistics, calculus, algebra, these things are must. But let's suppose if I'm going to join a data science, maybe senior data scientist or data scientist for an organization where I have to solve a real world problem, right? Over there, system design, architecture, wireframing, and all those things are very important as compared to math. Yes, mathematics is required, but not on a level of like a researcher, right? So mathematics is required, basic mathematics is required, so that you can understand an algorithm, you can build a logic, and as and when it is required, you can modify it. So it depends on a role that you are going to play.
I really don't like these questions, but here's another one. How many days required for a beginner to become master in data science? I really don't like that question. Like, it's a so much of context-based question. How many days you are spending? How many hours you are dedicating? What is the self-learning? Are you learning on your own? Are you coming to learn from me or learning from you? Are you coming personally or you're joining live classes? Like, how should I answer these questions? This is
I
from
have
my side, not that question.
I have answered this question in like so many times, more than I believe a million of times. I always keep on saying that my environment is different, my background is different, my education level is different, expertise is different. I'm coming from a completely different kind of a domain. Yours is different, right? The
Yeah.
way we used to adopt a thing is different. The way you are trying to adopt a thing is different. Some of us are slow learners, some of us are like a fast learner, right? So don't try to so let's suppose if I'm going to say that, okay, fine, so I can complete machine learning maybe within 1 month or 2 months, same thing is not going to work for you, right?
Exactly.
Your environment is different. So just try to evaluate yourself. First of all, try to create a proper roster or maybe a kind of a routine. Try to create, right? Try to set an objective that, okay, fine, so I have to reach out to this particular place. Now whatever time is required, maybe 1 month, 6 months, or 1 year, right? Try to reach out to this particular place. In this
And
way
also, it
you can
depends
achieve
on
anything.
what course or what track you are going for. Because learning on your own obviously is going to take more time. Surely you can do it. There is everything freely available. You can even learn how to do surgery for free. So nobody's stopping you. Go ahead and do that if you can. And again, another thing is like if you're following a structured and course path, it's just going to make life easier for you. Nothing much
Exactly.
more than that, I guess.
It's kind of a road it is going to create, but at the end of the day you are the one who is supposed to walk through that particular road and you have
Absolutely.
to go at the end, right?
Absolutely.
So it's your life, decision will be yours.
Okay, so thoughts on Web3 and metaverse. Will it be good to learn Solidity and Hyperledger?
See, if I'll talk about a metaverse, so as per my knowledge, it requires four things: a knowledge in four different technology. First one is for sure a blockchain. Second one is a knowledge of IoT. Third one is a knowledge of AI, and fourth one is a knowledge of, I would say, like a web based technology. So if I'll talk about just a metaverse, right? Yes, metaverse is going to be a future, right? This is what I'm able to understand as of now. Still I'm trying to explore, right? And we are trying to do some sort of experimentation even here in iNeuron. So I believe, yes, it's a good one to learn, but what I believe is keep on exploring other components, other technologies as well. Try to build even a small piece of like a project or maybe a product by your own.
So in your
And
library, do you teach Solidity as well?
yes, yeah. So in our one year platform, so we have a Solidity courses and we have a course on blockchain. Both of these things are available inside Solidity or blockchain. You will be able to find out NFTs as well as Web 3.0.
Ah, that's
it's,
cool.
it's it's already there, plus project, how to create your own NFTs, how to create your own blockchain, right? Each and everything project wise it is available. Recently we have launched, and we are trying to add more and more project in the same module. So we are just working on it, but yeah, it's there even now.
Okay. Can ML bot can take a profitable trade anytime soon?
Trading algorithm is a different side for ML. Trading itself is a very very complex things, and people are trying to solve this problem. But so far, none of us are able to build a reliable ML or AI kind of a solutions which can help you out 100% with trading, because again it's a factor that it matters, right? There are so many environmental factor, political decision, news, people sentiments,
Yeah,
which
there
matters
are
a lot.
so many unknown variables.
Exactly.
Tomorrow,
So
if Nirmala Sitharaman comes in and say, "Hey, let's ban all the cigarette," and the ITC stock is going to tank in, so you cannot decide that.
decide that, and so the ML, because ML or AI system just works on the data set and the works on the common pattern that we have already faced. But let's suppose there is some uncommon pattern and instances
Yeah, that's
comes in between, so
if
your ML
tomorrow,
is going
let's
to
just say,
fail.
dear Mr. Putin invades Ukraine, how the stock market is going to tank in, and when he's going to invade, nobody knows that.
And again, depends upon the relationship between Russia and India, right?
Yeah.
So like
Okay.
so yeah.
Interesting question up here. Can we implement ML in Salesforce? I guess you are the perfect person to answer this.
Salesforce, I believe there is always a already a prediction model which is available. So in Salesforce model, so there is always a this kind of a model is available. So I believe yes, yeah, we can do that, and people have already done that. Salesforce itself is providing you a kind of a packages and wrappers, so where you can try to call all the ML prediction based models, and then you can integrate it. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So oh, interesting one. Roadmap for software architect.
Okay, so the very first thing is experience. Experience of working into a multiple diversified project where you have used a different kind of system plus infrastructure plus maybe frameworks, libraries. So this is something which is very very important. So roadmap wise, I would suggest you try to work on at least two or three big scalable and a complex project where every component has been used, and then for sure you can claim yourself as a software architect. So that is going to be a roadmap. It may be from any of a domain that we can think of, but yeah, two or three big project.
Okay. One personal question. Uh, do you work out?
5 or 6 year back, yes, since last 5 or 6 year. So no, I'm just trying. So sometime what happens is like I feel like okay fine, so I'll go to gym tomorrow, and yes, I used to go for it maybe for a 15 minute, and then day after tomorrow back to the normal life. So I'm just trying to do a workout, but I'm not able to do it. uh, Maybe in future I'll for sure, but yeah, 5 or 6 year back I used to do a lot. So I
Okay.
had my own private gym in my house.
Awesome.
So but I'm not able to use it.
So I guess uh, clothes are hanging out there on those treadmills and stuff.
Yeah. But it's of no use.
Okay. So, what I can say is one important question. What is, do you read first?
Uh,
Books and stuff?
okay, I'll give you one my background, right? So I have studied in Hindi school
Okay.
till my 12th. So like there was no English which was involved except an English book, right? There was one single syllabus that we used to get in English. So I have developed a taste for a Hindi poem and Hindi books, right? So
Yeah,
I
of course.
used to
That
read.
it just all about, because what I think is it's not about, even if you're reading in local Marwadi or maybe Marathi or maybe Gujarati, reading gives you a focused and a bit of hobby-ish thing. You can say it gives you more concentration. That's what I love about.
Yeah, so I used to read Ramdhari Siddhinkar. So Rasmi Rathi, you can say. I used to read Haribans Rai Bachchan, Madhusala, you can say. I used to read Godan. So all those poems
I
and
have
this
read
Hindi.
Dinkar's a couple of books from the. He's fantastic.
So my favorite one is Rasmi Rathi. So I remember lots and lots of paragraph from that particular book,
So that
and I
that's an
keep on
interesting take. I guess you can recommend one or two books to audience for having a different taste. Of course, it's going to be in Hindi or other
try
language.
try to read out Ramdhari Siddhinkar. You will get lots and lots of motivation, inspiration, a lot.
Dinkar is a the work that he has put into here. Because I'm also from Rajasthan board. I have studied. You know how this is. They have books and all of that. So I have studied thoroughly all of them, and I love that. I don't talk in Hindi in this channel, but my background is a lot in Hindi.
So yeah, so just I'll recommend everyone to read out if they are able to understand, if they have that particular taste, right? So it's my personal recommendation to all of them to read out Rasmi Rathi. It's best one for a motivation.
Fantastic one. Okay, so moving up here, tell me one more thing. Final personal question. I'm sorry to let's just bombard you with the questions enough here. So sorry. It
No,
sometimes feels bad, but come on, this is what I'm here to do.
I think it's fun. It's fun for
Okay.
me.
Okay. What is the latest in modern tech that you are learning right now? Like today you explored it, or yesterday, or you're trying to just get your hands dirty with that.
As of now, I'm trying to explore a drone designing system. So, how you can design a propellers, how you can design a flight control system, how you can design a sensors, how you can like design a VTOL drone. So, this is what I'm trying to learn nowadays in my innovation lab. So, I used to sit a lot over there, right? So, this is something that I'm like learning or maybe doing. You can say.
Yeah, and whenever you learn something, like I always feel myself saying like, "Oh gosh, what did I started up here?" Like all of that. So do you also go with that?
So yeah, when you will just keep on learning, right? So
Yeah,
like I said,
eventually that phase goes on, but the initial very first phase, I always get like, "Gosh, what did I started now? Like how I'm going to do it and all that." And eventually, I like, yeah, it's fun.
okay, so I'll tell you like how I do these things, how I explore a new thing, right? So first of all, let's suppose I have to learn about a drones, and let's suppose I'm completely blank about drones. I don't know how to build or how this flight control system works, or any of this component works or propeller works. What is the fluid dynamics which works inside a drone? So first of all, I'll try to catch up one particular person who is having complete expertise, right?
Yeah.
Then I'll sit beside him day and night. I'll not leave him, right, for maybe a months and months, right? And then I'll just ask him, can you please do this, can you please do that, right? Can you please tell me what is this, what is that? So I'll keep on bugging him for a day in day out, every day, right? Morning 4 o'clock for months and months. And this is how I learn. So in this way, it's kind of a fun for me. In between, we do a lot of party, but yeah, it's kind of fun for me. And I used to learn at the end of the day. So
Yeah,
my
this
goal
is
is.
exactly what I also do sometimes. Like I used to just bang my head alone and all of that, but now obviously I would call it a luxury to have friends and everybody around. So like I recently wanted to learn about Kubernetes. I didn't had much of the hands-on experience with that, so I took a flight, went to Bangalore, lived in his house. That hey, now I'm all yours, and we're gonna be just geeking out about Kubernetes, whatever the work you do. He works in a cybersecurity, so it's a sensitive environment. And I was like, I'm not gonna leave. You have to teach me. So I guess I can drop
Yeah,
by to
yeah.
iNeuron's lab as well. That hey, now I got an interest in hardware, so teach me.
I think it's open for everyone, so anyone can drop by over here in our innovation lab, right? You just have to like write a mail to HR, not for you, Ritesh, for sure, right? For me and you are friends, so it's completely fine. I'm just talking about in general. Right, they can drop us a mail, and within 24 hours they can get an approval, they can come and sit over here 24 into 7. It's
So
completely
I
fine.
can drop by unannounced, I guess. Yeah, that's the
Anytime.
perk of having you up here, I guess.
Anytime, it would be a pleasure for me to host you here in our office.
I would love to. You need to have prepare some iced tea or something. I would love. Can I
uh,
also come sometimes when you're taking batch or something? Maybe I can discuss
yeah,
and
yeah,
have offline
anytime.
session. I love
Yes.
that because I have done this for so many of the institutes and colleges as well. So I would
Yeah.
love to drop by, talk to students in person and all of that.
Yes, yes, yeah, anytime. So, a student, researcher, the kind of developer that is there in our innovation labs, you can talk to any one of them. And yeah, so instead of tea, I have a stock of Red Bull, so I can offer you
Ah,
that.
that would be fine. I need to take number from you that this Red Bull guy need to stock fridge up here. I can give him a spot up here, right here, entire fridge.
I have that. I have that in my cabin itself.
Yeah, so I'll be getting one up here, that all stock up here. I know I need to burn the calories up in the gym, but I'll do it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm doing the same.
Okay, so anything else that you would like to add up to audience up here or anything that you are working? Obviously, everybody knows iNeuron, but you are a pretty big at tech into that world and all that. Anything that you would
Not
like to add that students can benefit, my audience can benefit from it, or something like that? Feel free to just announce anything or anything like that that you have in mind, if you have.
Okay, so nothing much. Just on a lighter note, I would like to recommend everyone, right, that things are changing a lot. Technology, world of technology is shrinking, right? Every like a year, you will be able to get new tech, new things. So just try to explore each and everything as much as possible, as soon as possible, instead of getting a mastery into one. So try to become a jack of all, because oftentimes a master of one or jack of all is better than a master of one,
Yeah,
oftentimes,
that's the complete
right?
one.
I was just watching like a series called as Rocket Boys. I loved it a lot, so I've just like taken this particular dialogue from that particular movie, Rocket Boys. So it was so just try to explore. We have released a awesome platform called as One Neuron. So try to explore that if you want. If you have some kind of a suggestion, you can suggest us. The entire audience, right? We have a feedback mechanism over there. Try to explore, try to take it, but yeah, at the end of the day, work hard in a particular direction, right? Set your goal first of all, right? Don't try to explore everything. You will end up getting nothing, right? Try to set your target, try to set your goal, and then just work on it day in day out. For sure, all of us can achieve whatever we want. It is possible. It's, impossible
I
is
guess we all are on the same page. All the teachers and everybody who creates the content, they want, yeah, just explore everything or learn from everyone.
exactly, learn from everyone, right? Life itself is learning. It keeps you learning every day, right? But decide your direction, decide your dimension, and then try to execute it on a daily basis. You will be able to get whatever you want in your life, everyone. So that's
So
my
that's
final
a
advice.
fantastic one. Okay, just one last question. I'm so curious. Like I'm always curious about everything. Who came up with the name iNeuron? You or Krish?
I
That's why we are having you here first, and then probably we'll have
Uh,
Krish here as well.
yeah, yeah,
So I need to set up a video call with the Krish as well. A lot of people are asking that.
yeah. So anytime you want, so I think we can connect and then we can
I need
schedule.
to be prepared for the Krish with some good set of questions. So it's not about just generalized question. It should be something more meaningful that people can watch, and Krish can share his expertise up here. That yeah, this should be more meaningful for everyone from industry veterans to the beginners. So I need to prepare a set of questions for him as well.
So whenever you are ready, I think we can get into a meeting and then let's do it.
I'll give you a call on that personal one, so not on up here.
Anytime, anytime.
Okay, so I guess that's all we're gonna have for this Saturday Live. It was fantastic one. A lot of people joined up. A lot of people obviously are going to watch it later on, and probably a lot of people are requesting that yeah, let's go ahead and join all three of us. Probably we can set that up and all of that. Okay, so fantastic one. I wish you all the very best for your company and for the ventures. My only recommendation for you is keep on serving students as best as you can, keep providing them best of the best quality education, and have them all the options as best as you can.
Thank you so much, Tess. Thank you so much for inviting me. It was immense pleasure to talk to you on your channel, interact with everyone. So thank you so much, guys, who have joined. Again, thanks a lot, and see you again.
Okay, so thank you so much, all of you, for joining in. Those who were keeping their phone on the side and watching it as like a podcast style, that is also fine. Now you can close it down. And definitely, based on your request, you can ping me up here and all of that. We can bring Sudhanshu anytime back up, or Krish as well. Whoever you want, whatever the questions you have, just go up here. And probably I'll catch up Sudhanshu in sometimes in your lab as well. Definitely, that's 100%.
For, for sure, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so bye bye.
Bye. Take care. Thank you.